Hi, everybody. This is Trisha Crotto talking to you about Zion National Park. Zion National Park is an amazing place located in the great state of Utah and is truly one of the United States' greatest geological wonders and is truly and honestly an amazing piece of God's creation. Zion National Park can be visited pretty much any day of the week by you and I. But it has to be done in somewhat of a unique fashion. When we think of national parks, we always think about jumping in our car and driving into whatever it is we want to look at. Well, Zion is done a little bit differently. When you visit Zion National Park, and I hope you will, you'll see that you're going to ride around on a bus. And the reason why they're doing that is because it does save their landscape and it helps them to, you know, keep the beautiful wonders of Zion healthy for future generations. Zion National Park was formed 250 million years ago. The stunning landscape was carved by rivers that would later dry into desert landscape. Originally, Zion was below sea level, so completely covered with water. That evaporated into a river system that carved out the landscape of the park and then dried into the desert landscape that you and I think of when we think of Zion National Park. The park is 229 square miles large and is home to a multitude of creatures as well as plant life. Some of the plant life that you're going to see when you visit Zion National Park are giant pines, juniper covered plateaus, narrow canyons made from sandstone, and the beautiful twists and turns of the Virgin River. Uh, Zion National Park is on the edge of the Colorado Plateau. Now, the Colorado Plateau is very large. It stretches from central Utah to northern Arizona into parts of Colorado and New Mexico. So Zion National Park, as you can see from the map here in the picture, is really just a portion of this amazing landscape called the Colorado Plateau. Now, the plateau itself, it was formed by the movement of the earth. This region has, or the movement of the earth in this region has exposed a series of colorful cliffs called the Grand Staircase. As you can see in this picture here, the Grand Staircase is truly colorful. It is believed to date back 2 billion years as the earth has moved and changed due to erosion and and rivers and volcanoes and all kinds of different geological happenings. We've built up all of these different amazing layers of earth. The uh, the staircase itself is made up of 5 tilted southward facing escarpments called stair steps. The stair steps rise 5,500 feet and stretch from the Grand Canyon to Zion National Park to Bryce Canyon as well. So again, the stair step also represents, or the staircase, I'm sorry, also represents a very large area. We're going to talk about the area that is represented in Zion National Park. From in this slide here, you can see the different layers of earth being represented that you would find if you were to be able to excavate each layer of Zion National Park. We're going to focus mainly on the Navajo sandstone because a good portion of Zion is Navajo sandstone. And then we'll talk a little bit more about that as we move forward. The staircase, though, is identified by, colors. And even though I don't show that here in the video, I'm going to share them with you in order of age. From the youngest to the oldest, the layers are identified as the pink cliff, Gray Cliff, White Cliff, which is important to us because that's where we're going to start talking about Zion National Park, and Chocolate. The Chocolate Cliff would be considered the deepest, oldest layer of Earth, okay? The White Cliff, though, found in Zion National Park, is made up of Navajo sandstone, like we showed you here in the video. The formations can be as tall as 2,200 feet, and these cliffs are often topped, or often the tops of the cliffs are rounded and domed. In this case, you're looking at the checkerboard mesa of Zion. And then you can see, look at the sides of the slopes of the mesa. See how they form? There's like a checkerboard pattern there. Well, erosion has caused that. Basically, the erosion caused like some undercutting, and it created this pattern on the slopes of the mesa. It's kind of, if you look, it's like a right angle vertical fractures that we're seeing here that give this checkerboard look and its name as well. Most of the park's rocks are sedimentary, meaning that they're made from bits of other rock that have been weathered and eroded throughout time, and they've formed these beautiful layers. These layers are what really tells the true story of Zion and the Colorado Plateau. If you look at the next picture as well, you can see the layering in really a different light. Maybe it doesn't cast so much of the deepness of it, but you can definitely see the different layering. It's only in recent geological time that the layers have been uplifted and eroded to form the beauty that we identify as Zion National Park. Some of the scenery that you'll see, or some of the beautiful geological wonders that you're going to see if you visit Zion National Park, are examples such like as the Crawford Arch that you see here. This is the Crawford Arch. As you can see, that erosion has pulled away the soil or eaten away the soil over years to leave us with this really neat arch. Now, the arch is named after the Crawford family. It was named after them because they were a family of Mormon settlers who decided to try to farm the land near the arch, and they planted cotton there and were given the area a nickname as being like a little Dixie, or being a small portion of the South, or however I guess you'd want to put that. But anyway, that is how the Crawford Arch got its name. But as you can see, the Crawford Arch is truly a complete arch. We can see all the way through it. The next example of one of the neat sights you're going to see when you're there is the Great Arch of Zion. Now, the Great Arch of Zion is considered a blind arch. The reason it's considered a blind arch is, unlike the Crawford Arch, we can't see all the way through it. But we can see here in the photo where there is definitely an arch that was eroded into the rock here. It was done by erosional undercutting, and it creates this recessed arch as the earth has fallen away. So, like I said, we can't see all the way through it, but we can see a clear arch where the earth has fallen away due to erosion. Again, like I said before, Zion National Park, as we know it, is considered young by scientists in comparison to, to the world's formation. We as Christians, though, believe in an earth purposely formed by God. That being said, we see evidence in the book of Genesis, starting in Genesis 1. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Now the earth was formless and empty. Darkness was over the surface of the deep, and the Spirit of God was hovering over the waters. And God said, "Let there be light." And there was light. God saw that the light was good, and he separated the light from darkness. God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. And there was evening, and there was morning, the first day. And God said, "Let there be a vault between the water, to separate water from water." So God made the vault, and separated the water under the vault from the water above it. And it was so. God called the vault sky. And there was evening, and there was morning, the second day. And God said, "Let the water under the sky be gathered into one place, and let dry ground appear." And it was so. God called the dry ground land, and the gathered waters he called seas. And God saw that it was good. Then God said, "Let the land produce vegetation, seed-bearing plants, and trees on the land that bear fruit with seeds in it, according to their various kinds." And it was so. The land produced vegetation, plants bearing seeds according to their kind, and trees bearing fruit with seed in it according to their kinds. And God saw that it was good. And there was evening, and there was morning, the third day. And God said, "Let there be lights in the vault of the sky, to separate the day from the night, and let them serve as signs to mark sacred times and days and years. And let them be lights in the vault of the sky, to give light to the earth." And it was so. God made two great lights, the greater light to govern the day, and the lesser to govern the night. And he also made the stars. God set them in the vault of the sky, to give light to the earth, to govern the day and the night, and to separate the light from the darkness. And God saw that it was good. And there was evening and morning, the fourth day. And God said, "Let the water teem with living creatures. Let the birds fly above the earth across the vault of the sky." So God created great creatures of sea and of the sea, and every living thing with which water teems, and that moves about it, according to their kind, and every winged bird according to its kind. And God saw that it was good. God blessed them and said, "Be fruitful and increase in numbers, and fill the water and the seas, and let the birds increase on the earth." And there was evening, and there was morning, the fifth day. And God said, "Let the land produce living creatures according to their kinds, the livestock, the creatures that move along the ground, and the wild animals, each according to its kind." And it was so. God made wild animals according to their kind, livestock according to their kind, and all creatures that move along the ground according to their kind. And God saw that it was good. And then God said, "Let us make mankind in our image, in our likeness, so that they may rule over the fish of the sea and the birds of the sky, over the livestock and all the wild animals, and over all the creatures that move along the ground." So God created mankind in his own image, and in the image of God he created them, male and female he created them. God blessed them and said to them, "Be fruitful and increase in number, fill the earth and subdue it, rule over the fish of the sky and the fish of the sea and the birds of the sky, and over every living creature that moves on the ground." Then God said, "I give you seed-bearing plant on the face of the whole earth, and every tree that has fruit with seed in it. They will be yours for food. And to all the beasts of the earth, and all the birds in the sky, and all the creatures that move along the ground, everything that has breath of life in it, I give every green plant for food." And it was so. God saw that he had made it, and it was very good. And there was evening, and there was morning, the sixth day. And as we all know, on the seventh day, our God's work was complete, and he rested. The end.